The Thompson family Thanksgiving dinner was in full swing at their prestigious River Heights address, a luxury apartment complex where my father proudly reminded everyone he'd lived for 20 years. The turkey was organic, the wine was expensive, and the judgment was, as always, free of charge. "So, Amanda," Dad began, using that tone I'd grown to hate. "Another year gone by. Still doing that, what do you call it? Online business." I adjusted my simple black sweater cashmere from my own luxury brand, though they'd never recognize it. The apartment's dining room felt suffocating, filled with my parents' desperate attempts to maintain their facade of upper-class success. "It's going fine, Dad," I replied, watching Mom arrange her designer plates knockoffs from my company's home collection ironically. "Fine." He laughed, cutting into his turkey. "Sweetheart, at your age I was already making partner at the firm. Your brother David is following in my footsteps, and what are you doing? Playing shop on the internet." David smirked from across the table, his new Rolex catching the light. "Come on, sis. The position at Dad's law firm is still open. Time to grow up." If they only knew that while they were practicing law in their modest firm, I'd built the largest real estate and luxury goods conglomerate in North America. That their precious River Heights apartment complex was just one of thousands of properties I'd acquired through my company, Eclipse Enterprises. "Amanda needs to think about her future," Mom chimed in, pouring more wine. "All her friends are getting married, building careers." "I have a career, Mom." "Selling things online isn't a career, dear," she sighed. "It's a hobby." My phone buzzed discreetly. A message from my CFO: "Acquisition of River Heights complete. All tenants being notified tonight. Including your father." I smiled into my wine glass. "A vintage from my own vineyard." "How long have you lived here, Dad?" 20 years, he said proudly. "Best address in the city. Though with these recent rent increases." He shook his head. "The new management company is ruthless." That ruthless management company was one of my subsidiaries. I'd been systematically buying every luxury property in the city through shell corporations. "Maybe it's time to move," David suggested. "I heard they're raising rents again next month." "They can't keep doing this," Dad protested. "I'm a respected tenant. I'll speak to the landlord myself." I checked my watch. Right on cue, the doorbell rang. Mom frowned. Who could that be? On Thanksgiving. The family maid, who actually worked for my company, opened the door. "Mr. Thompson? The building manager is here with some important documents." Marcus Chin, my VP of Real Estate Operations, walked in holding a leather portfolio. He caught my eye and barely suppressed a smile. "Good evening, Mr. Thompson. Sorry to interrupt your Thanksgiving, but there's been a change in ownership. The new landlord wants to meet all premium tenants personally." Dad straightened his tie. "Finally. Someone reasonable to talk to about these outrageous rent increases." "Yes, well," Marcus opened his portfolio. "The new owner is actually here right now." "Here?" Mom looked around confused. "Where?" I stood up slowly, smoothing my sweater. "That would be me." The silence that followed was deafening. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. Mom's wine glass froze halfway to her lips. David's new Rolex suddenly looked very cheap. What do you mean?" Dad stammered. "Eclipse Enterprises," Marcus explained professionally, under the leadership of CEO Amanda Thompson, has acquired the entire River Heights complex, along with most of the luxury real estate in the city. Mom's face went pale. "Eclipse Enterprises? But that's the largest real estate and luxury goods conglomerate in North America," I finished for her. "That online hobby you've been mocking? It's now worth more than every law firm in the country combined." David's smugness evaporated. "That's impossible. You sell things on the internet." "No, brother dear. I built an empire while you were chasing Dad's approval." And speaking of approval, I turned to Marcus. "How's that rent increase looking?" Marcus pulled out more documents. "As discussed, Ms. Thompson. 30% across the board. Except for the penthouse." "The penthouse?" Dad's voice cracked. "But that's my dream apartment. I've been on the waiting list for 15 years. "Oh, that penthouse?" I smiled. "I'm taking it. Consider it a reunion gift. After all, family should be close." But this was just the beginning. They hadn't even seen my real empire yet. The Thanksgiving turkey grew cold as Marcus began distributing documents across the dining table. Mom's designer plates were pushed aside to make room for property portfolios, acquisition reports, and lease agreements, each bearing Eclipse Enterprises' distinctive logo. Ms. Thompson, my assistant Sarah entered with a tablet. Global acquisitions are ready for your review. And the London real estate market just closed. Dad's hands trembled as he studied the River Heights ownership documents. This shows you own the entire complex? Actually, I pulled up more data on the dining room's smart wall, another of my company's innovations they'd never noticed. I own every luxury residential building in the city. River Heights is just the latest acquisition. David, still trying to process this revelation, spoke up. But your little website. Let me show you what that little website built. I nodded to Sarah, who activated a full display of Eclipse's holdings. The smart wall filled with images and data. Thousands of luxury properties worldwide, retail empires, technology companies, and development projects that made River Heights look like a starter home. Your law firm's building? I continued, enjoying their shocked expressions. I bought it last month. That country club membership you're so proud of? I own the club. The luxury brands Mom loves to imitate? All mine. Mom's hand flew to her fake designer bag, a knockoff of my company's latest collection. By the way, Mom, I added, that bag is counterfeit. I should know, I own the original brand. Ms. Thompson, Marcus interrupted, the Dubai royal family is on line 1 about the floating city project. Floating city? Dad whispered. Dad. While you were bragging about your 20-year-old apartment, I was building entire cities. Those internet dreams you mocked? They're revolutionizing global real estate. The displays showed Eclipse's most ambitious projects. Self-sustaining urban developments, underwater complexes, and space habitation modules that redefined luxury living. Your rent increase, I continued, pulling up their new lease, is actually quite modest compared to market rates. Though I'm adding a few requirements. Requirements? David's voice cracked. Yes. All residents must now use Eclipse's smart home technology. The same technology you laughed at during last year's Christmas dinner, calling it science fiction nonsense. Sarah approached with another tablet. The Pentagon approved the secure housing contract. They want to discuss the quantum-shielded residences. Dad's legal credentials suddenly seemed very small compared to his daughter's military contracts. That's right, I confirmed, watching their faces. Those silly security ideas you dismissed? They're now protecting government officials worldwide. The smart wall displayed more breaking news. Eclipse Enterprises revolutionizes global real estate. CEO Amanda Thompson named world's youngest female trillionaire. Trillionaire. Mom's wine glass slipped from her fingers, staining her knockoff designer dress. His mom. That hobby you mocked built something bigger than you ever imagined. Want to see what else your failing daughter owns? Marcus began displaying Eclipse's complete portfolio. Luxury brands, technology companies, aerospace firms, an empire that spanned industries and continents. Your office, Dad? I continued, watching him flinch. The one you're so proud of? The entire law firm is being relocated. That building is becoming Eclipse's new AI research center. Relocated? To where? He asked weakly. The 3rd floor of our secondary office building. Next to the maintenance department. Consider it a lesson in humility. David, desperately trying to salvage something, spoke up, but my partnership track is now under Eclipse's corporate structure. I cut him off. Congratulations, brother. You'll be reporting to our junior legal team. Starting salary is. I checked the documents, about half what you make now. Half. He looked like he might faint. Performance-based compensation, I explained. Something you'll need to learn about in the real world. Just then the building's intercom system activated. My voice echoed through every apartment in River Heights. Attention residents. This is Amanda Thompson, CEO of Eclipse Enterprises and your new owner. Please check your emails for updated lease terms and rent adjustments. Mom's perfect makeup couldn't hide her shock as their phones buzzed with notifications. These rates, they're market value, I finished for her. No more special treatment for being respected tenants. Welcome to real estate under proper management. But the night wasn't over yet. The real shock was still to come. The Thanksgiving dinner had transformed into a corporate takeover, the family turkey growing cold as my empire was unveiled piece by shattering piece. But I wasn't done, not even close. The real revelations were just beginning. "Ms. Thompson," Sarah announced, "the Wall Street trading floor is ready for your evening briefing. Shall we display it here?" "Please do," I nodded, watching my family's faces as the smart wall transformed into a live feed of New York's financial district. Hundreds of traders stood at attention waiting for my instructions. "Good evening, traders," I addressed them, enjoying Mom's sharp intake of breath as she watched global markets hang on her failing daughter's every word. "Execute Protocol Omega on the European markets. And begin acquisition of Asian Pacific real estate portfolios." "Yes, Ms. Thompson," hundreds of voices responded in unison. Dad's hands gripped his armrest so tight his knuckles turned white. This is impossible." "Impossible?" I raised an eyebrow. "Like when you said it was impossible for me to succeed without your law firm connections. Or when David said I'd never understand real estate without his expertise?" The displays shifted to show Eclipse's latest innovations: quantum-secured buildings, AI-driven urban development, and revolutionary living spaces that made River Heights look like ancient history. "Your apartment, Dad?" I continued, pulling up the building's schematics. "It's being upgraded. Whether you can afford the new rent is another question." But I've lived here 20 years, he protested. "And now you'll live where I decide," I replied calmly. "That is, if you can afford it. The new smart features alone cost more than your annual salary." Marcus approached with another tablet. "The space station habitat designs are ready for your approval. NASA wants to fast-track the construction." "Space station." David choked on his wine. "Yes, brother dear. Those ridiculous sci-fi dreams you mocked at Easter? They're now reality. Eclipse is building humanity's first luxury space residences." The displays showed elaborate plans for orbital living spaces, Mars habitation domes, and lunar developments that redefine the meaning of prime real estate. "Ms. Thompson," another executive entered, "the United Nations Housing Committee is waiting. They need your input on the Global Sustainable Living Initiative." Mom's social climbing dreams suddenly seemed very small as she watched her daughter casually discuss world-changing projects with international leaders. "Speaking of sustainability," I turned back to my family, "let's discuss your future living arrangements." The smart wall displayed new residential options, all significantly less luxurious than their current apartment. "You can't just throw us out," David protested. "We have rights." "Actually," Marcus interjected, distributing more documents, "under the new ownership, all existing leases are subject to review. And given your current income levels." "Income levels?" Dad's voice cracked. "I'm a senior partner. At a law firm I own," I reminded him. "A firm that's being downsized and restructured. Your new salary might not qualify you for River Heights anymore." The screens displayed the new rental requirements, income thresholds, technology adoption standards, and luxury living criteria that my family could no longer meet. "But where will we go?" Mom whispered. "I hear the Bronze Heights complex has vacancies," I smiled. "It's more appropriate for your new status. Though you might need to sell some of those fake designer items to afford even that." Sarah approached with another update. "The Mars colony contracts are finalized. And the Lunar Real Estate Registry is online." "Mars colony?" Dad's voice was barely audible. "Stat. While you were bragging about your 20-year-old apartment, I was literally creating new worlds. Eclipse isn't just changing Earth's real estate, we're expanding to other planets." The displays showed more breaking news. Eclipse Enterprises launches Interplanetary Real Estate Division, CEO Amanda Thompson pioneers space property rights. "This can't be happening," David muttered, staring at his now meaningless law degree on the wall. "Oh, but it is," I confirmed. "And wait until you see tomorrow's headlines." I nodded to Sarah, who projected the next day's news. Eclipse CEO reveals global monopoly, Amanda Thompson controls 70% of world's luxury real estate. Mom's perfect posture finally crumbled. But your little online business built the largest corporate empire in history," I finished for her. "Those internet sales you mocked? They funded the acquisition of every luxury brand you pretend to own. The silly property listings Dad laughed at? They're now the backbone of global real estate. Marcus distributed final documents, their new lease agreements, complete with astronomical rent increases and strict terms. You have two choices, I announced. Either accept your new status as standard tenants, with all the rent increases and restrictions that entails, or what? Dad demanded. Or accept positions within Eclipse. Entry-level, of course. Dad, the maintenance team needs a new assistant. David, the mailroom has an opening. Mom, the housekeeping staff is hiring. The silence that followed was deafening. This is blackmail, David finally said. No, brother dear. This is business. The kind of business you claimed I'd never understand. Just then their phones buzzed again, rent increase notifications. The new amount made Dad's face go pale. This is more than my monthly salary, he whispered. Then I suggest you decide quickly about that maintenance position, I replied. It comes with a small housing allowance. Emphasis on small. The smart wall now displayed Eclipse's complete organizational chart, my family's potential positions highlighted at the very bottom. Consider it a learning opportunity, I continued. Dad, you always said I needed to understand real estate from the ground up. Now you can do the same literally from the maintenance basement. Sarah approached one final time. The global markets are closing, Ms. Thompson. Your empire grew by another $50 billion today. The displays showed the numbers. My personal net worth now exceeded the GDP of most countries. The apartment they were so proud of wouldn't even qualify as a rounding error in my daily earnings. One last thing. I stood, smoothing my cashmere sweater. That dream penthouse you've been waiting for, Dad? I'm taking it. But don't worry, you'll still get to see it. We will. Mom asked hopefully. Yes. The maintenance team cleans it every Tuesday. I smiled. Welcome to the new River Heights, where success isn't inherited or assumed, it's earned. Something you're all about to learn the hard way. As I walked toward the door, leaving them with their cold turkey and colder reality, I turned back one final time. Happy Thanksgiving. I trust you've all found something to be grateful for, like those entry-level positions I'm offering. After all, not everyone gets to work for the company that owns their failed dreams.